And as Samuel L. Jackson said in the movie Jurassic Park, hold on to your butts, for it's me. I'm alone, no garbage man today. Well, that's not exactly true. He may call in a little bit later. He's out there at Cornfest right now, living it up. And I got one person watching. That's fine with me. Someone on YouTube. I wonder, could it be really? Could it be Casey? It couldn't be Frank, because Frank's streaming right now. He's doing a live reaction to the newest Spider-Man movie trailer, which is great. Good for Frank. So speaking of Cornfest, I want to start off not only with the disclaimer, but a little bit of history behind Cornfest. And I'm not from Tabor, so you're not going to take anything I have to say seriously as an outsider. But a guy who grew up in Tabor, he knows a thing or two, and his name is Uncle Hack. And from the Uncle Hack podcast, which you can find the link here, okay, the origins of Cornfest. The town was founded in 1902. The name was pronounced Tabor, T-A-B-O-R. It was settled by Mormon settlers from the Utah area. So back then, Cornfest apparently was the search for the King of Cobb, or King Cobb. All the men would get together. They would go to a selected cornfield and get naked. It's getting strange already. They would run naked backwards into the cornfield, their hands tied to their bodies. Strange. Whoever was the first to get a corn cob lodged in the butthole and come back to the group with the cob still lodged in was the king. If you cheated, the town was cursed and there would be a drought. The queen cob, I don't know how they selected the queen cob, but then again, this is from Uncle Hack. He did his research. He did his research, apparently, so I got to take his word for it. The queen cob would be wrapped in a blanket on the next harvest moon, and the kernels from that cob that was in the king cob's butthole were then, and this is quoting from Uncle Hack, shoved up the woman's vagine. End quote. That's from him. The link is there. You can listen to him say it. Then the king and queen would fornicate, and the next born child would be deemed the prince, assuming it would be a boy. This sounds like something that guys at a bachelor party would come up with after polishing off a bottle of tequila. Like, you get naked, you run backwards, and if you get a corn cob lodged in your butthole, then there would be rain and you would have a plentiful... What? Good Lord. I am befuddled. So there's that. Oof. So this might be a little bit of a quiet show because Nick is usually the one who does all the talking, but it's me. So, but this is not going to be a show where I'm sitting here looking at the screen and typing away and say, oh, this is interesting. No. But I got two people watching, one on the YouTube channel, one on Nick's. I'm not going to put down money, but I'm betting on YouTube it's either going to be Casey, Really Mysterious, or Shlomo. And who was watching on Nick's Facebook, I'm going to guess, was Alma. But I have no idea. And later, probably near the end of the stream, because Nick and I, last time, we did not recommend any music. So I'll recommend 2 songs for people. I've also got a bunch of movies to recommend as well, because I, up till recently, was watching movies on a regular basis. And when I say regular basis, I'm talking between 7 and 14 movies a week from December 2018 up until about last week. And I mentioned the reason for that, but I'll say it again. It was to not only get caught up on movies I had missed over the past 30 or 40 years, but I needed content for the You Missed It podcast, the podcast which unfortunately hasn't done anything in about 8 months. And you know what? I will share the screen so you guys know where the You Missed It podcast, where you can find it. I miss doing that show because it was the five of us. It was Jack, Zach, Rylan, Andrew, and myself. We would all be at Jack's place. We would all watch a movie, and then we would do the podcast afterward, which was great. I think Jack's reasoning behind it was that the podcast isn't the podcast unless it's all five of us. And in this day and age, we can't really get together at this point, especially in BC, because the mask mandate is back and we got to social distance and not gather in large groups and so on and so forth. We did do one episode. No, we did a few over Skype or what have you. Hey, ahoy, hoy, cooking dinner. Hey. So anyone who's been watching for a while, you know, when Ryan says ahoy, hoy, you have to drink. And I mentioned movies, so you probably got to drink again. What are you cooking for dinner? I would like to know. I don't really care, but just for content so I can comment on. No, I'm kidding. So the You Missed It podcast, I'll share that screen so you guys know where to go if you want to listen to said You Missed It podcast. Here it is on SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/You Missed It podcast. And it's all sorted by each individual co-host's picks. So starting with Zach's, Hands on a Hard Body was a good one. Then Rylan, Jack, Andrew. So if you want to listen to a particular person's movie picks, this is where it starts on the SoundCloud page. And then mine, finally. And for some reason, and I looked at this last night, the VIF 2020 Part 3, which we did, I think it was October last year, was myself, Andrew, and Zach. This got 220 plays, and I can't understand why, because you look at Part 2, that got 42. And then you look at Part 1, which got posted twice. Well, maybe Jack was drinking. No, I'm kidding. But that got 41 each, which makes no sense. Why did this get 220? I would love to see the analytics on that. But there you go. The You Missed It podcast on SoundCloud. Sausage, eggs, and toast. Yeah, all right. That's usually, in the traditional world, that's a breakfast thing. But yeah, we're not living in a traditional world anymore. So that's completely fine. In my 20s, of course, I would have ice cream as part of my breakfast, not specifically for breakfast, but I was young and stupid. As John C. McGinley's character in Point Break said, young, dumb, and full of cum. Yeah. Like I said, Nick will be getting on here at some point. He'll be coming to us live from Cornfest. Probably be all pie-eyed. But until he shows up, I got plenty more for you. And I'm going to take my time, too. I'm not going to speed through this. You know, the last time I did a solo stream was 2020. This was when the old show, the show that shall not be named, the Jabroni Jabber podcast, Brody and Nick couldn't show up for a week. So I decided to myself, well, I'm going to stream on Facebook for an hour just to see if I myself could do such a solo show for an hour. And I'll share the screen. And I did it for an hour and 4 minutes. And I did it from Facebook. Hour and 4 minutes. And for whatever reason, I got 81 views. I don't understand. Like, of course, you can't see who it was. 81 views. The shows that Nick and I do don't get more than 12, 13. So where the hell did I get 81 views from? We'll never know, I guess. But I did it then, and I'm doing it now. It was kind of a trial run that I didn't know I was going to be doing. So, Ryan, it's just you and me, I guess. That's fine. Hope you're doing good. I imagine you're still in Prince George. Are you hating the new mask mandate? The return of the mask mandate? As it was said by Kyle MacLachlan's character in David Lynch's 1984 Dune, fear is the mind killer. Well, in this day and age, the mask is the freedom killer. It's taken my freedom, my freedom, my freedom, my freedom. No, it isn't. It's a paper mask. I mean, you put it on. I can't do that because the headphones are in the way. But you put it on, you can breathe. There isn't. What is this bullshit about? I can't breathe. I can't breathe. This is not Derek Chauvin. This is not a Minneapolis police officer kneeling on your neck for 8 minutes and 49 seconds. It's a thin paper mask. Well, the mask doesn't do anything. It's better than nothing. It doesn't prevent you from getting COVID, the little droplets in the air. It reduces the risk of exposure. I don't understand why people wear a mask like this. Why wear it at all? You have to wear it like this. I mean, the whole point and purpose is to prevent the droplets from getting into your respiratory system, which go in through your nose and your mouth. Your nose and your mouth. That's why you have to wear it this way. That's why it's got this little fold in it so you can crease it over your nose. I'm not a health expert, so no one should listen to me, but why do you think these were made this way? God damn it, I don't understand people in this day and age. And I see it not every day. That's an exaggeration, but I see it every once in a while. Why? I got to quote Joe Biden. Why? I don't understand why. COVID is the topic du jour. So, of course, I got a bunch of articles talking about COVID. And I'll get to them. I think the first one that I'm going to get to when I find it, and I talked about this guy before on the show, it was at least a few weeks ago, and I can't find him. Okay, I got him. So it's still just you and me, right? That's fine. I'm not here for the views. But again, I don't understand why when I was streaming on Facebook, I got 81 views. Nick and I stream and we get 10, 14. I changed my profile picture and my background picture on Facebook recently. Got 40 plus likes. Do a live stream, 10, 12 viewers. I don't understand. But it is what it is. I knew a guy who had that tattooed on the side of his neck. It is what it is. His name is Eric. Cool guy. Yeah. He was from East Vancouver. He is from East Vancouver. I hope he's doing well wherever he is and what he's doing. So here we go. Conservative talk show host who railed against vaccines dies of COVID. And this is not a ha kind of thing. This is not a jab in the ribs. This is this sucks. This shouldn't have happened. And this was 3 days ago. Here he is. Conservative radio talk show host Phil Valentine died at age 61. So people are going to jump on that right away. Oh, he was an old man. He was 61. Probably had other comorbidities. He railed against COVID-19, saying he wasn't going to get it, and if he did, it wasn't going to kill him. Then he dies of it. And it sucks. And yes, thoughts and prayers. I almost fell for it. I almost said, oh, thoughts and prayers to the family. It's terrible that he died, and my condolences to his family. I'm not going to fall into this thoughts and prayers. In December 2020, he tweeted, I have a very low risk of A, getting COVID, and B, dying of it if I do. Well, guess what happened? Why would I risk getting a heart attack or paralysis by getting the vaccine? Bro, citation needed. And of course, people are probably going to listen to this and watch this and spam me with, here are a bunch of people who died from it. Okay, so the number of people who die from the vaccine, at this point, that's a very low percentage. The same low percentage that people say, the anti-maskers say, that getting COVID and dying from it, that it's the same low percentage. They'll say, well, it's 0.0002 of people who die from COVID. Well, it's probably 0.0002 of people who are getting a heart attack or paralysis from the vaccine. Why? I go back and forth on this because I haven't set my mind to it. with regards to either the vaccine or COVID, not doubting the reality of COVID, mind you. It's getting COVID and having no symptoms, or getting the vaccine and having blood clots from it, or heart palpitations, or myocardia. I'll bring that up later. Joe Rogan, drink. He had a doctor who he's had on his podcast many times, and they were talking about the vaccine and people who have had adverse reactions from it. Before he was hospitalized, he was taking vitamin D like crazy. Okay, this Dr. Joe Rogan has said the same thing. Taking vitamin D, eating healthy, staying fit, things of that nature. But where's the evidence to say that taking vitamin D is going to help you? I mean, people in Florida who are closer to the equator, who live in a hotter climate, hotter than here anyway, they get COVID-19. US FDA warns against taking ivermectin to treat or prevent COVID-19. You know what helps to treat COVID-19? Being in the hospital, dying of COVID-19. Well, dying of it, but being treated from it. Ugh. Well, there's that. Someone liked Alma liked it. Is that because I said your name earlier? you were probably the only one. No, you don't watch on Facebook. You watch on YouTube. I don't keep track of those kinds of things. But thank you for liking it regardless. And we got one person. Yeah, that's you. I'm pretty sure that's you. I think you outed yourself. Yeah. So now I got two people watching from Nick's Facebook. Well, sorry to disappoint you that Nick isn't here, but he will be calling in later live from Cornfest in Tabor, from sacrificing children and running naked backwards in cornfields trying to get corn cobs in his butthole. That's an actual thing. Watch the beginning of the show. I go into the detail, the research I did stealing from Uncle Hack, Danger Cats, Uncle Hack podcast episode 10 from the Danger Cats YouTube channel. Alma, if you would like to disclose what games you play online with Nick, I'd be interested to know. He probably said so, but I forgot. There's no real reason why I'm asking. It's just for content. Just like with Ryan, the sausage, eggs, and toast. Man, I miss eating toast. I can't eat it because it's starchy and it fucks with my system. GTA. Oh, nice. There's a YouTube channel, and I forget the name of it at the moment, but I'll let you know. The guys from Vancouver, Vanos Gaming. So Vanos, he and his friends, they would do live streams of messing around on GTA 5. Man, it looked like so much fun. I wanted to buy either an Xbox 360 or maybe even a PlayStation 4 just to play GTA 5 because it looks like so much fun. Maps are endless, graphics are great. You could just I have, because I don't have those, I have a computer. I play GTA Vice City every once in a while, and it's fun to play. I mean, I don't even have to do the missions. I don't care about the missions. Yes, there is something for everyone. And if you ever want ideas or just to mess around or just to get some more fun and enjoyment out of GTA 5, go to Vanos Gaming. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put that up on the screen in a minute, just so y'all know what I'm talking about and where you can find it. And again, that guy's from Vancouver. Never seen him around. I know it's a small world, but still, it's not that small. And Alma, thank you for watching the show, even though Nick is not here and our mutual friend is Nick. I really appreciate it. I'm basically like a stranger to you, but yes and no. I mean, you've seen the show a few times, so I'll share the screen so y'all know what it is I'm talking about. I have returned. And she said, no worries, right before I got cut off from whatever silly technical problem there was. So if you didn't see Vanos Gaming, well, you can look for Vanos Gaming on YouTube and you'll find it. I'm scared to open up anything else now just because something might get fucked up. But you know what? The show must go on, as many other people have said. Speaking of Uncle Hack, I mentioned Uncle Hack earlier, and I wanted to bring up something that my good friend Susan had posted on her Facebook with regards to OnlyFans. So, OnlyFans banning sex is the tired pattern of social media platforms using sex and queer content to build their user base and make billions, then bailing when it takes too much thought, effort, and courage to support us. I am going to challenge that claim of bailing when it takes too much thought, effort, and courage to support us. It's not entirely about you. And I'm going to pull from Uncle Hack's dangercats.tv because he had the story and I was talking about it, I think it was last week. So OnlyFans is banning explicit content off their site. And this is on the Danger Cats page on dangercats.tv. And this was a week ago. Banning all explicit content starting October 1st. Nudity is still allowed, but explicit sexual content going to be gone. And in the full statement, these changes are to comply with the requests of our banking partners and payout providers. So if you've got a problem with OnlyFans' new direction that they're going in as of October 1st, you have to go after or talk to the banking partners, the credit card providers, etc. It's not that, oh, we don't like queer folk. No, that is an unproven claim. Stop making these unproven claims. Fucking hate that. God damn. Why do these old wives' tales continue to proliferate on the internet? It was pretty bad before the internet, but now it's even worse. And especially with regards to COVID and the vaccine. Like I'm no doctor, like bro science for sure. But if you are not a doctor and you're on social media making claims about the vaccine, bro, show me your credentials. Show me your education. I know that there are doctors out there who are questioning the efficacy of the vaccine and a lot of nurses who are refusing to take the vaccine to continue with their jobs in healthcare, which sucks because there's a shortage of healthcare workers here in British Columbia. And when they go, I'm not going to say the entire thing's going to collapse because that's alarmist and that's reactionary, but there's going to be a problem. Three viewers now. Ryan, Alma, and who else would be watching on Nick's? Nick's going to be here at some point. I don't know when, but he's going to be here. So if you're waiting for Nick, sure, you can leave and come back later. There's no guarantee because he might be pie-eyed, 3 sheets to the wind and falling down drunk with his sister. And maybe Brody. If Nick calls in, he might have Brody in there. That is what I am waiting for. I'm waiting for Nick and Brody in the same shot because I've never seen them in the same room. So maybe they're the same, but no, that's just stupid. Oh, yeah, overworked and under. I would not doubt it because it's not cheap and you cannot become a medical care worker like that. It takes time. Like it takes a few years at the very least. What does it take to become a registered nurse? 4 years, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, something like that? Likely. Shalom, Shlomo. How are you? I wonder, I would love to say that, oh, Shlomo's from New York because they say Jewish words. No, that's just stupid. Who the hell am I to say that? But Shlomo, where in the world are you from? You can say Eastern United States. You could say United States. I just want to know a little bit more about the people who occasionally watch the show. But thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it. As I said before, Nick is not here at the moment. He is busy in his, well, not really hometown, but the town he's currently living in, Tabor, killing children, drinking their blood, getting the adrenochrome, and butt searching for corn cobs. Yeah, you should watch the beginning of the show. I went into that a little bit. And I just lost a viewer for saying that. Eastern, oh, nice. Do you know Really Mysterious? No, I'm kidding. It's like people say to me, oh, you're in the Vancouver area. Do you know so-and-so? Yeah, because they're right across the street. What? No. Cool, Eastern Canada. I got a friend in Eastern Canada. He used to live in my hometown. His name is Corey. He drops into the show every once in a while. But he's on Eastern Canada. Like, he is where the ocean is. He gets the fish and the squid and the cod and all that. So thank you for tuning in. And I'm going to go to another show. You know, I could say that because it's me on the show, and I might have put this in the graphic for the show, but I didn't because I just didn't care to. This show could be an AAA show, an Ask Alex Anything show. I'm not guaranteed to answer, but you can ask me anything if you want, if you dare. So I was talking about old wives' tales and why they proliferate in the culture. So I'm going to bring up a recent one from, I think it was 1996, when I was young and dumb and full of you know what. So back in 1996, there was the McDonald's hot coffee in the lap case. That was from Stella Liebeck, and this was in New Mexico. So we all know the story. Old woman. Actually, I don't even know if it was spread around that it was an elderly woman, but woman at the time, and how I heard it was she was driving around with the coffee in her lap and it spilled and it burned her. Why would she be driving around with the coffee in her lap, blah, 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 blah. So in reality, what I heard was almost completely false. She did have hot coffee spill on her, but she was not driving. She was in the passenger seat. Her grandson pulls into a parking spot where she was trying to add cream and sugar to her coffee. The car didn't have cup holders, so she put it between her legs, and when she pulled the lid off, it spilled all over her. So it's at this point I'm going to say you should have waited until the car came to a full and complete stop. And me being Mr. Safety Guy, yeah, I would have been right, but that's not what happened. The coffee was at 190 degrees. Who the hell? Why would coffee be that hot in the first place? And I'm sure someone in the industry will say, not everyone is going to drink their coffee right away. They're going to go walking for a bit. They're going to get in their car. They're going to drive. So the coffee has a chance to cool down. Fine. So the attorney discovered that McDonald's required the franchisees to serve the coffee between 180 and 190 degrees. No other coffee in the city was served at more than 160. Even 160 is kind of pushing it, in my opinion. 190-degree liquid causes third-degree burns in less than 3 seconds, and she's elderly, so she probably doesn't have as many layers of skin. Jeez, bro science. Why would I say something like that? McDonald's had been sued over 700 times in the prior decade for coffee being too hot. Jesus. So again, old wives' tales proliferating for years and years and years. Why? Because the salacious story is more interesting than the actual truth. And I'm sure someone's going to spin that around and say the same thing in 10 to 15 years about the vaccines. Fine. But again, with regards to vaccines and COVID, this is brand new. You're talking hindsight being 2020. How did this become legendary? Because McDonald's knew the case was going poorly, so they had the bully pulpit because they're a huge company. They had billions of dollars. They started a massive PR effort. I would love to know how that started. Ugh. So she was 81 at the time. She used the money that she got, which was less than $600,000, probably to pay the lawyer and to pay for a live-in nurse. Now, the good thing is she watched company after company use her case as an excuse for tort reform to stop the big bad consumers from hurting. Oh, pardon me. No, spin that around. It sucks that it was used by billion-dollar corporations to go after the consumers. And she passed in 2004 at the age of 91, which sucks. And unfortunately, this is probably how she's going to be remembered. Instead of the truth, it's, oh, she's the one who sued McDonald's because she spilled coffee in her lap. Well, you got to know the truth. The actual, what if I'm reporting this incorrectly? What if this is a PR campaign against McDonald's? I don't know. But this is a different side of that story. So there's that. Someone else liked the stream. Quinn likes the stream. Oh, and here comes Nick. And I'm going to add him to the stream.
Hey! It's a garbage man live in location. That's Sarah. Hi, guys. And that's Kim. Reese getting stuff painted on her face. There's a lot of people down here. Some guy asked if Kim was my daughter. That's kind of weird. That's awkward. This is a little strange. Yeah, see, lots of people. Hold on. Pretty big sea humanity here. Yeah, so this is the garbage man on location at Table Cornfest. We will check in later, okay? Bye.
Bye. The man on the scene, Dr. Nick the Ninja Garbage Man. How many titles does he have? How many titles does he need, I wonder? Quinn, I imagine you like the stream because you think that we're going to play the story time with Nick. And unless Nick tells a story, I'm not playing it. I'm not doing it. I'm sorry. It's for special occasions. I can play it for myself to my heart's content because I created the thing, but it's just like candy and ice cream and other treats. It's a treat. It's for every once in a while. It's when Nick has a story to tell. But I thank you for the like nonetheless. And I got 3 people watching at the moment. Again, Ryan and Alma, and someone on my Facebook. Who would be tuning in for a moment to watch me on my Facebook out of the almost 300 friends that I have? I have no idea. I would love for you to make yourself known, but if you don't, oh well, that's fine. Where's Penny? Where's Trish? Where's Really Mysterious? Where's Casey? I know where Frank is. Frank is streaming. You know what? I'm going to pimp Frank's channel right now because Frank is a good guy. And on the old show, the Jabroni Jabber podcast, it was myself, Brody. Nick was in for a little while, but for whatever reason, Wi-Fi wasn't great in his living room. Frank and Casey, and we did a 5-hour stream for New Year's. And you can find that on my Facebook page under the videos section. But as I said, I'm a pimp Frank's show right now. Harsh Truth with Frank. So here we go. If you're going to look for Frank in the Harsh Truth, this is where you're going to go. You're going to look for that logo, the Harsh Truth TV and film commentary. And right now he's doing Spider-Man No Way Home trailer reaction. This other one that he did, apparently this got taken down, which sucks. Because how is he supposed to do a reaction to a trailer if he can't, watch the trailer? I know copyright and trademark and all that, but come on, man. And I heard about this through Derailed. So I'm a pimp Derailed as well. Derailed News and Podcast. Gatekeeper Drew, that's the name of the guy who runs the show, and Casey, they are doing a new podcast called Less Than Serious. And I've listened to both episodes. I like the format. So I'm pimping that, Less Than Serious, but Derailed News and Podcasts in general. And Gatekeeper Drew, he's got a good voice. He could do, some people say that about me, but he's definitely got it, in my opinion. Now, some people are wondering, well, Alex, you said listen to it. It's YouTube, it's video. Well, good concern you have. And I'll tell you, what I do is I copy the video link and I go to this website and I punch it in, and it will convert to either an MP3 or an MP4. Now, I don't have the time, unfortunately, to sit around watching live streams and podcasts all day, which is dumb because up until recently I was watching movies all day. But like I said, I got to move on. But I listen. Listening is how I get through all the podcasts that I listen to. And like I said, I go to that website, very easy to use. Make sure you got the video link copied, and it's easy from there. And I have a little MP3 player, and I'm listening to stuff every day. The Drunken Peasants, Frank, Derailed now. There's a bunch more. Leonard Maltin's Maltin on Movies podcast with Leonard and Jesse. How Did This Get Made? That's another podcast about movies that I listen to every once in a while. It's good. It's good stuff. Yeah, recommend it. No one's commenting. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine if you're not commenting. I can do this. I was going to pull up another. I was going to get into stuff. I saw an article on CBC. I think I saw the title. It wasn't really a clickbait article, but it was the title that grabbed me. And I'm going to go into a little bit of it with you now. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because I want to get to something else that's similar in content. So, the tragedy of the commons and why it is helping to scorch our planet. When it comes to common pool resources, economists suggest everyone is in it for themselves. And you see a picture of a whole lot of people at the beach. And this is in Europe last year. Now, what is this referring to, the tragedy of the commons? Well, there was an idea by a 1968 paper in the journal Science entitled The Tragedy of the Commons. It talks about the overuse of, let's say, a particular space, traced back to a concept supposedly derived from a small English village and its overuse of a shared plot of land. And that idea was brought forth by W.F. Lloyd in 1832. Now, I saw this PDF. It's 80 pages long. It's in book format, and it's 2 lectures that this guy gave. Apparently, this guy is a reverend, and he gave the ideas on why land shouldn't be shared, like to such an overextended use. And it was with regards to, I think it was sheep. It was a bunch of people who owned sheep who all decided to keep their sheep in one plot of land. And eventually the sheep just ate everything in that land. So the land could no longer be used. So in a similar fashion, what I think the author of this article is extrapolating that idea to is that if we all keep using everything to such an extent that we do, we're going to have nothing left. So the UN sounds alarm on irreversible climate impacts. Well, we've been hearing this more and more for the past few years, and probably for good reason, because we've got 7.88 billion people on the planet. More people, the more resources used, the less resources we have left. More pollution. And I wanted to jump over from that to this. Thomas Robert Malthus. I first heard of this guy when I was watching an Alex Jones documentary from 2009 called Endgame, Blueprint for Global Enslavement. And he talked about Thomas Malthus and the Malthusian catastrophe model. So this expands on that a little bit. Malthus observed that an increase in a nation's food production improved the well-being of the population, but the improvement was temporary because it led to population growth, which in turn restored the original per capita production level. So people tend to gorge and live the good life when there's plenty of something, but then they procreate, which in turn is a bad idea in this particular case with what he's talking about, because it leads to more resource consumption and less resources inevitably available. So people, instead of enjoying a higher quality of life, they increase the population. So I think what he was getting at was, in order to live a good life, either don't procreate or don't procreate so much, because populations, especially increased populations, had a tendency to grow until the lower class suffered hardship, want, and greater susceptibility to famine and disease, a view that is sometimes referred to as a Malthusian catastrophe. So there's a little bit of a science lesson for you, maybe science history lesson for you. And I should have played this earlier, but you know what? I've got it, so I'm going to play it now, just to not really appease Ryan, but to include Ryan. That was your little knowledge section. Thank you, Ryan. What do you mean, thank you? All he did was sit there and go, oh. It's the look. Sometimes you see something and you get an idea from it. I remembered that from a party video, and I thought, I can use that for this. And the music that came from, I think that came from this terrible Christian movie, which I haven't seen entirely, but apparently it's on YouTube for free. I think it's called Second Chances or something like that. Apparently it's pretty bad, but that became a meme early on in the Drunken Peasants. They would use it as a Hey Scotty segment, and they would use that music, and it got pretty funny. Didn't last all that long, but it was funny while it lasted. OnlyFans is not banning anymore. Nice. I guess the wave of the masses protesting really changed their tune. Alma, again, thank you so much for showing up. I really appreciate it. We'll see you next week, hopefully. You take care. I wonder if they have modified their original statement. Because they are making a whole lot of money from sexual content. So I wonder what that pressure was all about. I would love to see a follow-up story on that. Maybe next week, do a follow-up story on that. Speaking of stories, I got more for you, and we're gonna get into a little bit of the crazy. I don't know how many of you saw this. Quite a few have, though. So from NPR, a California father claims QAnon conspiracy led him to kill his 2 children, says the FBI. And this was almost 2 weeks ago now. California father took his 2 young children to Mexico and killed them with a spear fishing gun. Good Lord, that's got to be a painful death. After he claimed he had been enlightened by QAnon and Illuminati conspiracy theories. So, Matthew Taylor Coleman had been, quote, receiving visions and signs revealing that his wife possessed serpent DNA and had passed it on to his children, and that by killing them, he was saving the world from monsters. Bro, you just became a monster by killing your children for believing in dumb shit. Now, I'm not saying this is all QAnon people. This is not how all QAnon people think. But it doesn't bode well for the movement when a person does something like this. Like, this is, ugh. Oh, yeah, QAnon from 2016. Edgar Madison Welch entered a pizzeria and fired a rifle. He was investigating Pizzagate. Man, remember Pizzagate? Remember when you thought that was the craziest thing you had seen and heard of up to that point in time? You ain't seen nothing yet. How did they find him, though? 40. The guy was 40, and he's you know what? I could understand it if you're 15 or 20, but he's 40. Jesus, I'm going to be 40 soon, and I don't believe in that. But then again, I took the vaccine, so I'm a different kind of stupid, apparently. Oh, at the suggestion of police, AC. Oh, his wife is AC. Use the Find My iPhone application. Oh. When he arrived at the border without his children, yeah, what was his story going to be when he went over the border with his children and returned without them? What was he going to say? Oh, I left them with the babysitter. Yeah, because all babysitters are Mexican, apparently. No, that's just stupid. Come on. I'm not going any further into that. It's not a clickbait story because it does tell the story. What do you say? Oh, shit, here comes Nick again. Hey.
Hi, it's Nick the Garbage Man back on location. By the Gravitron, right there, the kids are just getting off. It's actually called Area 51 now. We're thinking that it's a cheap Japanese knockoff. We have not seen any vomit, though lots of gum has been stepped on and other nuisances. Yeah, so this is the Garbage Man signing off again. Love you all, and for Garbage Man News, bye.
This could become a segment, a Garbage Man on location, I think. I'm all for it. That means I get to sit here in my armchair and, quarterback on stuff. So speaking of OnlyFans, a former officer featured on Live PD quit being a cop and is now an erotic model. Wow. So Ryan, you going to link us that OnlyFans account or what? No, I'm kidding. Is it a male or female? I wonder. Of course, I'm interested in the female persuasion, but interesting. It was a police officer who created, what was that thing that Joe Rogan was pimping for years on his channel? Drink. The fleshlight. It was a police officer who created the fleshlight. Female. Ooh. May have to go do some research later. Well, Ryan, it's just you and me. What do you want to talk about? No, I'm kidding. I got plenty more. I can fill up the entire hour. No problem. I was going to segue into something. I do have a video for the segue segment, but I'm not going to play it now. I'm going to play it when Nick's here, so you have something to look forward to. Ugh. I forgot what I was going to segue into, and that means drink. You know what? I'll go with this. It'll come to me eventually. It'll come to me tomorrow. So I saw an anti-masker share this, and as you see from the top, normal people, and what they've done is they've cut out the tops of those giant water cooler water bottles and put them on their heads as protection. And then at the bottom, conspiracy theorists are people who love and take pictures with their family. Well, who says you can't do both? Who says normal people cannot protect themselves from COVID-19, even if, oh shit, here we go again. Okay, maybe not. All right, back to the criticism. Who says that normal people cannot protect themselves from COVID-19? And I don't see quote unquote normal people doing exactly this. But why can't they protect themselves from COVID-19 and take pictures with their family smiling? This is it's a logical fallacy of some kind, and it's disgusting, and it shouldn't be done. Silly. Sad. It's very sad. Speaking of conspiracy theorists, good friend of mine, Susan, she shared this on Facebook with regards to CP traffickers. And I probably can't say the actual term, but this is talking about child trafficking. So if children are given over to celebrities, they're given over by their parents in the form of unsupervised visits, quote unquote, and hoping that the child will have a career. Well, that's stupid, even though, as Leonard Maltin says, nepotism begins at home. That's just silly. I mean, how? No, you know what? I hate that in the entertainment industry, it's all about who you know, not what you know. No, that's completely backwards. It should be what you know, not who you know. What you know should open the doors to knowing more people and therefore who you know. But it always has to start with what you know. None of this, oh, my brother's nephew's cousin knows the director and therefore I got a role. But if you're not right for the role, what the hell is that? Connection is fairly good. Bro, I am wired in. And I don't say bro because that's what people say. I say it sarcastically. Back to the infographic. The children that are kidnapped are generally children of color, given up by parents in the hopes that they will receive a better education and or place in a different country. Wow. There's no weird underground shipping. Yeah, there's no Wayfair cabinet scandal. That was hilarious. I never believed that for a second. Yeah. Mystifying the shit with cults and thinly veiled anti-Semitism at the bottom just buries the actual issues. Yeah, apparently it's all this evil satanic cabal of Satanists who are also Democrats. They're coming for your children. Ooh. Where's your evidence? Nice claim. Where's your proof? Good Lord. You think that the internet would be able to combat all this misinformation, but it has proliferated. It has spread far and wide. I don't get it. However, just because you post this stuff and just because I disagree with you does not mean that I hate you. We need to relearn that in our society. I can't remember who posted that on Facebook, but it's a good point nonetheless. And the people who posted the stuff that I disagree with, I don't hate them. I disagree with them, but it's not the same thing. Since we're getting into more QAnon stuff, let's go with some real crazy stuff. Again, my good friend Susan posted this. Trans people will destroy gender norms to create a new species. Human and part machine. Ooh, scary, scary transhumanism. I got to pull up this article for full context and full quotes. Once I find it. All right. People in this day and age. All right. So a guest of the Laura Ingraham podcast, claims trans people are trying to create a new species. So the guest was Paul Nathanson, using medical and other technologies to develop a new species. So he's mixing transhumanism with sex change medical procedures. They want to destroy whatever is in order to replace it with, oh, come on. This is more of this fake attack on the American family and your children can be the pizza gender or what. No. And you can't identify as vaccinated or unvaccinated. That's not how identification works. Human and part machine is what he's getting at with this, this explanation, if you want to call it that. Good Lord. Again, They're trying to use social engineering to create a new species. You know, speaking of that, species, and I'm not a scientist in any way, shape, or form. I don't have the education. Again, bro science. There it goes, bro science. So I can't say how DNA and species are determined. But with people identifying as, you know what, let's say otherkin. And I am definitely not speaking from experience or in any kind of wheelhouse. So you can facepalm all you want. You're probably right. But people identifying as some kind of otherkin, well, let's see the genetic makeup for this otherkin so we can label a new species. If you're really identifying as this other thing, then there's got to be a genetic code to go with it, right? You would think. But it's just people identifying as because that's how they feel. Okay, well, if that's how you feel, that's fine. By the way, eat sauerkraut. Don't care what kind. Actually, I do care what kind. Not specifically this kind, but when I first started eating sauerkraut, this is what I started with. And it helped me a lot with regards to probiotics. I'm by no means paid by this or any other company, but it's important as you get older to help, if not reshape, help to keep in check your gut biome. So eat sauerkraut. This message brought to you by Alex, not the garbage man. He would probably recommend pizza or hot dogs. You can put sauerkraut on hot dogs. I don't think I've ever done that, but you can if you want to. Clickbait. I think, yes, that's what I was wanting to segue into, but for whatever reason, my dumb old man brain got all messed up as it usually does. We're going to learn for a moment about clickbait. You've seen it on social media hundreds of times. So here are some good examples of the worst clickbait headlines that you just won't believe. Was it an alien or something? Can't wait to find out. Yep, that's definitely clickbait. I'm not even going to dignify with an explanation. Here's another obviously clickbait headline. We want you to click, so we're going to give you the salacious headline in the hopes that you'll click. Fuck off. This is disgusting and terrible. I hate this. That this doesn't tell the story. This is not journalism of any kind. Well, of course it's not journalism. But still, why? Why no explanation? Sure, there's a picture, but still, that's stupid. I got no words for that one, but it pisses me off nonetheless. Again, this is infuriating. I can't imagine what it might. Whoa, fuck. Give us something. Stupid. I hate clickbait. Hashtag stop the clickbait. No, this pisses me off too much. Stop the clickbait. I did this for a short time on Facebook a few years ago, but for whatever reason, I stopped doing it. But it should come back. Stop the clickbait. We don't need it. We need actual stories. We need real journalistic integrity. Even if you're not a journalist, a headline that tells the story in this short attention span culture that we live in, we don't need clickbait. We need actual stories. We need a short description of the story in the title. We don't need clickbait. Stop the clickbait. Stop it now. And again, I got 3 people watching, one on Nick's, one on my Facebook, and one on YouTube. The one on mine is gone. Come on, man. Why would you click for 3 seconds and decide this is not for me? Come on, man. You know me. You're on my Facebook. Well, it's me and Ryan once again, but the garbage man will return. Here is something that is not clickbait. It tells the story, but it's hilarious and disturbing at the same time. This is more of this religion and, well, not really religion pushed in public schools, but religion. And okay, before I share it, what, you're leaving? So I'm going to be all alone? Come on, man. What are you doing? Because you're saying hoy hoy. In my mind, that means goodbye. Well, if you got to go, you got to go. I thank you very much for stopping in. No. No, he says he's not leaving. Okay, well, he said hoy hoy. That's code for I am leaving. And I have determined this, not you. So if you've got a different description, please let me know. Let's update our lexicon. I was going to share a teacher who said something stupid. And in this day and age, that's becoming increasingly more and more common. Teacher told students, fetuses turn gay when they're unwanted in your parents' womb. Now, this isn't exactly clickbait. However, when I scroll down, and this is the alleged perpetrator of such comments, her name is Kim Johnson, and this is in Illinois. So kind of middle America. I'm not going to hold geography against her at this because stupidity is everywhere. Okay. So a former student said, quote, I remember comments being made like, if you were gay, that was because you were unwanted in your parents' womb, end quote. So this is not a direct quote from the teacher herself. This is from the former student who says, this is what the teacher said. And she said that the teacher said that because she was playing devil's advocate in order to express her views on LGBTQ people and minorities. So there's no audio or video of the teacher actually saying this. This is other students testifying to this. She thought being gay was a choice. Well, if you talk to Milo Yiannopoulos, apparently it is. But I can't comment on that. But it's just getting more and more blatantly dumber, I want to say. She looks so normal, though. Yeah. You'd be surprised at who says and does what. They're everywhere. Yeah, it's just like the terrorists could be anywhere. They could be your neighbor. They're most likely the quiet ones. I'm a quiet one. Like, come on. Well, not right now, but I am, for the most part, a quiet one. Let's have something else that's religiously dumb. And I've seen more of this in the past 5 to 7 years. Petty customer stiffs gay waiter and leaves hateful note instead of tip. And the internet covered the tip and then some. Great. See, this is great because it gets to the crux of the story right away by showing the evidence. Service was good, but we don't tip sinful homosexuals. This writing is just marginally better than mine, and my writing is terrible. We don't tip. It looks like we don't tin. That looks like an N, not a P. Sinful. You haven't been reading the Bible too much because sinful is not spelled with 2 L's. We don't tip sinful homosexuals. Why not? They gave you good service. Did they hit on you? Did you find that offensive? Fuck off. So the internet covered it. The internet paid him $4,500. And this happened in Madison, Wisconsin. Then again, if my memory serves me correctly, Wisconsin is kind of middle America. And I've seen stuff like this in the past, and this is stupid. Like, why not? I can't even say why not go somewhere else, because they're free to go wherever they want. Oh, my freedom, my freedom. I can get any kind of service anywhere I want in America. Well, then they have the freedom to express themselves freely as their self, as their homosexual self. And sure, you have the freedom to criticize them and not tip them, but then they have the freedom to receive $4,500 for your bullshit. I hate that this is the world we're living in at this point. Look at Gacy with the first lady. Yeah, I know you're trying to say lady instead of Katie at the time. More information needed. I have no idea what you're trying to say. I know you're talking about John Wayne Gacy. And that's the thing about me sharing these screens. When I share the screen, I can't see your comments, but I get to it eventually. Geez, I guess Nick really is the driving force behind this show, because I got one person, Ryan. At least Ryan's the diehard watching this show. Oh, well, I'm here. I'm keeping the show going. That's the thing. Speaking of loudmouth people who like to give their opinion on everything, this is another one that was shared by Susan on Facebook. Yep. People who don't know jack about Afghanistan talking about Afghanistan. Yeah, we should hear more from people from Afghanistan, or foreign policy experts specializing in Afghanistan. That's who we need to hear from, not Joe Schmo on the street giving his opinion as if he's a military strategist and, oh, this is what we should have done. I mean, in the past 15 years on the internet, we've seen the rise of tough guys and English teachers and military strategists and poli-sci experts and virologists and immunologists, all with their Google University degree. How lucky we are to be surrounded by such educated folk. Wow. So John Wayne Gacy got a picture with Jimmy Carter's wife, yeah. How did he get full Secret Service clearance? I want to know about that. He had already killed, he had been charged with sodomy, but I don't know that he had been, pinpointed as a killer at that point. Because if she had known that he had killed, then I don't think she would have taken the picture with him. Optics were alive and well in that time, so she just didn't know. She was uninformed, unfortunately. They fucked up. It was at that point they knew. They fucked up. Yeah. They did fuck up. Yep, there are people who fuck up all the time. I've heard that said about doctors. With regards to, doctors wear masks all day. They fuck up all the time. They leave utensils inside patients' bodies. Yeah, that happens, but not to the extent you think it does. And someone will turn that around. They'll say, it happens more than you think it does. Yeah, people fuck up. Gotcha. Yep. See, at that point in time, doing research on someone wasn't as easy as it is now. So, of course, they had no idea. Who knows if there was, I bet there was a file on him at that point, but it wasn't to the degree that a person can get a file on someone nowadays. Especially with what people reveal about themselves on the internet in their social media profiles. That's one of the reasons I post next to nothing, except for the previews for these shows, because if someone wants to learn something about me, they can ask me. And that's also why I don't participate in these fill out this form with your favorite food, your favorite color. I know that went around years ago, and that was proven to be data mining. But anything like that, I will not share and participate in, because I do not, it won't, of course, it does not reveal anything about my password or my passphrase. Speaking of clickbait, okay, I'll give into the clickbait at this point in time, but for a good reason. Highly vaccinated Israel is seeing a dramatic surge in new COVID cases. Here's why. You could take out the here's why. That's kind of clickbait, but I'm going to allow it this time because it makes sense. Ugh, and this does not bode well for people who take the vaccine. Immunity from the vaccine dips over time. Health officials and then Pfizer said that the data showed a dip in the vaccine's protection around 6 months after receiving the second shot. That only gives ammunition to the anti-vaxxers, the people who do not want to get the COVID shot. They're going to use that and say, why bother getting it at all? And they will have a somewhat of a point. Delta variant broke through the vaccine's waning protection, because the Delta variant is a variant of COVID. It's not something that we have created a vaccine for specifically, the Delta variant. So people who went abroad, vacations, traveling, brought the Delta variant very, very quickly to Israel. So that's why the Delta variant broke through the vaccine's waning protection. It helps to read this stuff instead of just looking at the clickbait headline. If you get infected, being vaccinated helps. Yes, it helps. So if you don't die from the vaccine, maybe you'll get sick. Maybe you won't have any symptoms at all. Who knows? It was the under 60 crowd, 3.2 per 100,000. I think it was just over half of Israel's population got vaccinated. Only just over half. Oof. Bad news is that half of Israel's seriously ill patients who are currently hospitalized were fully vaccinated at least 5 months ago. Most of them are over 60 and have comorbidities. So, as Joe Rogan has said, if you're over 60 and you got comorbidities, you're more at risk. If you're young, if you're healthy, if you take vitamin D, all these things that are not proven that are not proven to prevent COVID. Yeah. The vaccine rate isn't high enough. So like I had said, it's just over 50% of Israel's population was vaccinated. 78% of eligible Israelis over 12. But Israel has a young population. And largely between the ages of 12 and 20 have declined to even take one dose of the vaccine. I would love to know the reason for the vaccine hesitancy, the reasoning behind it. Only 58% is fully vaccinated. Okay, I should have said that. Oof. Vaccinations are key, but they are not enough. So masks, social distancing. And again, the anti-maskers and the vaccine hesitators are going to say, why get the vaccine if the Delta variant is going to get you sick, and if you can still get the virus from the vaccine despite being fully vaccinated? And I myself have to say, okay, you got a point. I can't argue with you because I don't know the science. But then again, this is a young pandemic. In 5 or 10 years, we'll know more, and hindsight will, of course, be 2020. Point number 6, booster shots offer more protection. If you're one of the world's lucky few to get them. Oof, that doesn't sound nice. So Ryan, my trucker friend, he had posted something like that recently that, oh, what? In order to go to the grocery store, you're going to have to get your third, fourth, and fifth booster shot. That's the thing with vaccines, or pardon me, that's the thing with vaccines. That's the thing with viruses. They evolve over time. Bacteria in the form of viruses evolves, and we have to evolve too. We got to get ahead of this thing somehow. It sucks that BC is back in this state of wearing masks in public again, but I can understand Dr. Henry's frustration to a point and to a fault. So what else can they do at this point? I mean, they're looking at the numbers, and people are going to say, oh, the numbers are fake, they're cooked. Prove it. Do you have access to the data? Do you know how the testing methods work? Let's see your knowledge on this subject. If you can prove that the testing is fake, then, or if you can prove that the numbers are being inflated, let's see your evidence. Otherwise, why make the claim? There's a whole lot more out there. So I'm going to share this, but I'm not going to play it because I don't know what YouTube's copyright and their bitching and complaining on copyright is. But I watched this. Joe Rogan talking with Dr. Rhonda Patrick on vaccine misinformation and long haul COVID. Now, she starts to make some decent points, but Joe Rogan wants specifics, and I understand why. And a lot of her answers are, I don't know. And she's being honest, so I appreciate her honesty at the very least. But again, she should have done her research, as people on the internet say. I really recommend listening to this. It's almost 15 minutes long. It's pretty good. And also on Joe Rogan was Michael Pollan. He's an author. And what he learned from quitting caffeine for 3 months, the thing that stuck with me was that he said he slept like a teenager. Now, I had to be very careful when I said that because I don't want to say something else and get taken out of context, which is what happens all the time in this day and age. So he quit caffeine for 3 months. He said he slept for a lot longer, like 10, 12, 14 hours. And that's amazing. I would love to be able to sleep that long because the repair process that your body goes through, the human growth hormone, the benefits it has for not only your body, but your brain. It's extremely important to get as much sleep as possible. So I myself am a coffee drinker, started about 5-6 years ago. My girlfriend made me do it. No, I'm kidding. It's because she loves coffee. So I tried it. I've seen benefits from it, but can't drink it all the time. It just becomes another addiction, another thing to go to, just like smoking cigarettes. You got something you're constantly bringing up to your mouth. It's just like a treat. It should be used only every once in a while. You know, I haven't had any coffee since Monday, and I'm doing this on purpose just to see if I sleep a little bit longer and a little bit better. Nothing yet. Probably takes longer than 6 days. The next time I'm having coffee is Monday. So that's a good 6 days. Yeah, it's probably going to be a full 7 days if we go about it on an hourly period. I'm getting toward the end of the show because we usually go for an hour and a half, something like that. And before I go, I'm going to pimp other friends, specifically my friends Jack and Zach. They are my co-hosts for the You Missed It podcast. They've got their own production company. They're based here in Vancouver. So you can find them on YouTube. Just look for Jack and Zach Productions, videography and editing team. They have been to film school. They know what they're doing. If you're in need of someone to film your wedding or a funeral, or hell, even a snuff film. These guys know what they're doing. They know how to frame a shot. They know where to put the camera. They can both do editing. They will make whatever your video is look great. They've been around for a while. Without having utilized their services myself, I wholeheartedly endorse them, because I've done podcasts with them. I've heard what they have to say with regards to movies and production. They know what they're doing. They put in their time. So if you're in the Vancouver area, you need someone to film something for you, Jack and Zach Productions, they are the people you want to go to. And I'm going to pimp myself as well. I have my own little podcast that I haven't done for a while, but I call it Vocal X. It's Vocal Alex. Yeah, it's very clever. I said that in the first episode of this. I haven't done anything on this in about a year, maybe a little bit more, but I'm going to get back into it. There are a little bit more in the way of episodes and topics that I want to do. This is the SoundCloud link. I should really change that to user, or I should change it to Vocal X if I can, because the You Missed It podcast is soundcloud.com/You Missed It. And for whatever reason, the first episode I did got 30 plays, but that was very early on. I guess people, and it was the same thing with the first episode of Alex and the Garbage Man. I think we got 50 views on YouTube, but after that, it kind of dropped off to the core audience. The second episode down to 9. The third up to 32. I don't understand that. Nobody comments, so I have no idea why. And then I did an episode on my disease, which is ankylosing spondylitis. I got 7 views. Not bad. Not looking to get famous off this or anything. Just putting myself out there a little bit. And the upcoming, impending, overdue, inevitable Pacific Northwest earthquake. I really like doing that one. That 7 plays. So there you go. That's me in all my vocal glory. If you weren't sick of hearing me on You Missed It and on Alex and the Garbage Man, find me here on Vocal X. Ryan, I thank you for sticking with me throughout this whole thing. I've got 5 more stories left. Mostly, if not all, to do with COVID. And it's all about places you can't go in BC if you don't have your first shot by September 13th and your vaccination card. Most people know about that, so I don't need to share that. Apparently, Adrian Dix, the BC health minister, says the majority of COVID-19 hospital cases are the unvaccinated. I got to take his word for it because I have no data to confront him with. So, and companies implementing vaccine mandates, can employees reject them? Well, that's a good human rights issue. That's on the CBC. I ought to share that screen just because. So if you want to get a little bit more insight into such a topic, you can. And there is no one-size-fits-all vaccine mandate, an employment lawyer says. Yeah, I think companies do face legal hurdles. But if that's the case, then so does the BC health minister. And there's been quite a bit of pushback on this vaccine mandate. I wonder how far that'll go by September 13th. That's a good, 2 weeks away? 3, just over 2 weeks away. 2.5, 3 weeks away. We'll see what happens. But please, don't send her death threats. That doesn't help or change anything. If you yell at her, that's not going to help or change anything either. I mean, bring your logical arguments and your refutations, but yelling at someone and name calling them, that doesn't change anything. That's not going to change anyone's mind, as I've said before. So come up with a better argumentative tactic instead of, oh, you're an idiot, you're a Nazi. I love that. You're a Nazi. You're with Hitler. You are the new Hitler. Godwin's law. Come on. Come on. You can do better than this. You're adult human beings. Why are you resorting to using childish tactics like that? Good Lord. This one was interesting. Top epidemiologist resigned from Ontario's COVID-19 science table, alleges withholding of grim projections. And he's talking about specifically, and that's him, Dr. David Fisman, about the grim projections for the fall. It's not that he's being silenced or muzzled or anything. He wants early release of modeling that projects a grim fall, and he's talking about the fall months, September through October, November. It's not that, oh, he's being muzzled. He can't tell the truth. No, read the article. BC to introduce vaccine card. Ooh, so we can't use the cards we were given when we got our shots, I guess. I would love to know what this is going to look like. And I'm also going to be interested to see who's going to try and fake those certificates like people have been doing in the United States. But they have to do this. They have to do government issued certificates, because if they don't, people are going to say, well, I got the shot, when in actuality, they didn't. So they have to do something. I sympathize with their position. I'm not saying that what they're doing is right or constitutional or against charter rights. That's going to be an interesting battle. But nonetheless, you can't take a lot of people at their word in this day and age. They will lie to your face. So I can understand Dr. Henry's frustration. I'm not saying she's right in what she's doing, but I see why they're doing this. And did I have anything else to share? Yes, I did. I had movies and music to share with y'all. Maybe people will be watching after the fact. And if you do, great. And there's someone else watching on YouTube right now. I wonder if it's really Mysterious or Casey. I think actually both of them are watching Frank's show. So it's cool. But if it's really, then I'm really glad you're here. I'm going to share movies, first of all, with regards to the residential school graves that are being dug up. There's a movie, an Australian movie from 1987 that goes into detail about how the Aborigines were treated by the Australian government when they were doing nuclear tests off the east coast of Australia. The movie is called Ground Zero, and it's from 1987. Pretty good movie. Tells a good story, a story that I had no idea existed until I saw that movie. And the main actor in that movie, I can't remember his name, but he was one of the main bad guys in Darkman from 1990. I love Darkman. I watched that movie a lot when I was a kid on video. I'm going to get into strange movies now. Hey, Frank, how you doing? You showed up at the right time because I'm talking about movies right before I close out the show. Yes, rest in peace to Charlie Watts, the drummer, 80-year-old of the Rolling Stones. I wasn't a huge Rolling Stones fan. As a matter of fact, everything that Gatekeeper Drew said about Charlie Watts I couldn't say it better. I couldn't say it any different. Like, I wasn't a huge Rolling Stones fan. They had their hits, but it sucks. And it also sucks that we're going to see a lot more of these guys go as we get older. I mean, in our lifetime, if we live that long, we're going to see the deaths of Mick Jagger and Keith Richards. Like, that's going to be the day when we see Keith Richards go. It would not surprise me that he's going to live to be 100. And that guy, he did so much drugs back in the day. And he's lived this long. Like, I don't get it. But Frank, I thank you for being here. I imagine you're done your show. So if you are, cool. I haven't seen the new Spider-Man trailer yet. I'm probably not going to watch it. I sometimes take the Leonard Maltin position in not watching a trailer and going into the movie cold. That's how I like to do it sometimes. However, with regards to looking for new movies on the Internet Movie Database, and please tell Cora it is pronounced IMDb. In many of the shows, she says IMBD. It's a simple mistake, but she still says it. And Frank, you still got the Jabroni Jabber podcast link in the description for your shows. I appreciate the nostalgia, but when someone clicks on that link, it goes to this channel does not exist. So if you want to keep it there, that's cool. I have no problem with that. I got someone else watching too on YouTube. I have no idea. Couldn't be Really, because Really would have said something by now. I'm going to go with some strange and disturbing movies. I would love to bring these in either to the You Missed It podcast or maybe on Frank's show, but at the very least, I'm going to mention them here. Yeah, if you want to fix it, that's cool. Or if you want to leave it there just to mess with people, you can do that too. From 2015, this is a Turkish thriller horror film that I really liked. It's got a 5.5, I think, on the IMDb. Should be much higher. It's called Baskin. I really liked it, especially because I watched a film analysis video after I watched this movie, and there are a lot of little things in that movie that you wouldn't pick up on if you're not of Turkish culture. So I would watch the movie, and then if you can find that film analysis, watch that, and it'll really open your eyes as to how good that movie is. So that's that one. Going to give you another foreign film. This one is from 2013. It's a Japanese film. It's called Why Don't You Play in Hell? It's about a young film crew who somehow gets in the middle of a Japanese gang war, and at the end of the movie, they film the gang war in a house. It's great. I love the ending of that movie. It's a good, I want to say, it's been a while since I've seen it, but that ending part where they're in that house, that's a good half hour. It's great. And the director of that movie, I believe his name is Ciro Sino. He's an interesting director. He's done quite a few interesting films over the years. I think he did Gozu from 2003, and he did another one. It doesn't come to mind, but he's an interesting guy. Check him out on the IMDb. IMDb, Cora. IMDb. Another Japanese film. This one's from 2009. This is usually found on really disturbing film lists. I watched it and I thought, yes, it's disturbing as hell. It's pretty grotesque, you could say. But the acting was pretty good, especially by the main bad guy, if you want to say, because he's looking for much more than just to torture people. But it is a disturbing movie, so you watch at your own risk. Another movie, this one is extremely disturbing. This one was filmed here in Vancouver. The name of the director is Lucifer Valentine, and I was able to watch this movie while eating. I do not recommend it, and for very good reason. If you've seen the movie, then good for you. Oh, it was tough to get through. There's a scene in the movie where, and I'm not going to go into detail, but there's a fat guy with a glass, and he's drinking from that glass. He's drinking a pink liquid from that glass. I had to eat at that time. I was not going to put it off. I had to, and luckily I got through it. So my constitution is somewhat strong. I had to eat an avocado that wasn't exactly brown, but it was getting that way. The movie from 2006 is called Slaughtered Vomit Dolls. And apparently the director of that film, he's done two more after that, which are in the same kind of theme or vein. Again, I don't recommend it for the faint of heart or for the weak stomachs. It's only for those who want to subject themselves to really disturbing visuals. And I'm not really talking about gore. There is some murder, but it's more body disturbing stuff. Yeah. Sticking with foreign films from 2013, and the French, they do really good jobs when it comes to putting the artistry in film. Like from 2007, Inside, slow burn, disturbing horror film. Great, just great. The French have a way of really using cinema to its maximum in terms of sound and visuals, and this is no exception. If you want to watch the trailer, you can. I did, and that's what intrigued me to this film from 2013, The Strange Color of Your Body's Tears. Strange title, strange movie, probably more in the surrealist genre of movies, but interesting movie nonetheless. And like I said at the beginning, Nick and I didn't recommend music at the end of last week's episode, so I will do that now. I love Massive Attack, and I know Really has listened to Massive Attack. So Future Proof by Massive Attack. I really like that song. I'd love to do a kind of a cappella ASMR version of that, just for the hell of it, because I don't think it's been done before. And the other one, this is from back in the day. I saw the music video on Much Music. That's Canada's equivalent of MTV back in 96 or so. Loved it. Love it now. You can find it on YouTube. Not a Surf. Popular. Great song. Love that song. Yep, you can't go wrong with with a song like that, especially if you watch the music video, because the lead singer plays the role of the teacher, and it's awesome. That's all I'm going to say about that. So yeah, it's been about an hour 42, hour 43. Nick chimed in twice. That's great. And Ryan, thank you so much for sticking with me the entire time. I know there were some silent spots while I was pulling up articles, but hey, that's how a solo show goes sometimes. And Frank, I thank you for being here as well. Hope all is going as well as it can with you. Baseball, life, movies. Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you both. And to Alma, she was here as well. And Shlomo, thank you for being here. And anyone else who tuned in, even if for a few minutes, you should have said hi. It would have been nice to know who's actually here and watching. But maybe I'll never know. It's one of those life's mysteries. Thank you, Ryan. You have a good one too. Alex and the Garbage Man will return next week with the Garbage Man with 100% more garbage. Thank you all again.